Recent reports indicate that the dream wedding of global pop icon Taylor Swift and NFL superstar Travis Kelce is being carefully planned, with Swift's luxury seaside estate in Rhode Island emerging as the primary location. Information from multiple sources familiar with the preparation suggests that the couple is opting for a highly private, yet deeply meaningful ceremony, reinforcing growing speculation surrounding their future together. The Rhode Island property in question is one of Taylor Swift's most recognizable residences, known for its sweeping ocean views, secluded setting, and high-level security. Over the past several weeks, observers have noted increased activity in the area, including discreet maintenance work, enhanced security coordination, and restricted access around parts of the coastline. While no official confirmation has been issued, these developments align closely with preparations typically associated with a high-profile private event. According to sources, the wedding is expected to follow an exclusive and intimate concept rather than a large-scale public spectacle. The focus is reportedly on atmosphere, emotion, and personal storytelling. The natural coastal backdrop of Rhode Island is said to play a central role, with the ceremony designed to blend seamlessly into the surrounding landscape. Soft, elegant tones such as ivory, muted green, and champagne are believed to dominate the decor, creating a refined aesthetic that complements the coastal sunset. Taylor Swift is reportedly taking an active role in shaping the event's creative direction. Known for her narrative-driven artistry, she is said to be ensuring that every detail carries symbolic meaning, from the musical arrangements to the flow of the ceremony itself. Travis Kelce, meanwhile, is described as contributing a modern, understated elegance, balancing the romantic elements with clean lines and a relaxed yet polished atmosphere. The result is expected to reflect both personalities without overshadowing the intimacy of the moment. Guest arrangements are also being handled with exceptional discretion. Sources claim the invitation list is deliberately limited, consisting mainly of immediate family members, close friends, and a small circle of influential figures from the music and sports industries. Media access is not expected, and there are no indications that the event will be publicly broadcast or documented in real time. Security measures are reportedly extensive, including controlled land and sea access, underscoring the couple's commitment to privacy. Amid the tightly managed preparations, one particular aspect is being kept strictly confidential. Insiders describe a symbolic moment planned for the ceremony that is intended to serve as the emotional centerpiece of the wedding. While details remain undisclosed, the moment is said to reference the couple's journey from early public attention to a more grounded and intentional partnership. Those familiar with the plan suggest it will leave a lasting impression on guests. As evening falls, the wedding atmosphere is expected to shift into a more dramatic and immersive experience. Carefully designed lighting is rumored to reflect off the ocean surface, paired with custom-arranged live music to enhance the emotional tone. The overall execution is described as cinematic yet restrained, prioritizing authenticity over spectacle. At this time, representatives for Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce have not commented on the reports. Nevertheless, the consistency of information from multiple sources and the observable activity surrounding the Rhode Island estate continue to fuel speculation. If confirmed, the wedding would likely stand out as one of the most talked about events in contemporary pop culture. Not solely because of the fame attached to the couple, but because of their apparent decision to center the occasion on privacy, intention, and personal meaning rather than public display. The reports surrounding the planned wedding continue to evolve as additional details quietly surface, painting a clearer picture of how meticulously the event is being orchestrated. Sources close to the situation emphasize that the choice of Rhode Island is not incidental. For Taylor Swift, the location represents a retreat from the constant visibility of her public life, a place where some of her most personal moments have unfolded away from cameras. Holding a wedding there is viewed as a deliberate statement, a celebration rooted in privacy, control, and emotional safety rather than global spectacle. Industry observers note that Rhode Island has increasingly become associated with high-profile, ultra-private events, particularly among celebrities seeking distance from traditional media hubs. The estate's geography allows for natural crowd control, with limited vantage points and restricted access routes. This, combined with professional security teams, is believed to make it one of the most secure private venues available for an event of this magnitude. Local officials have declined to comment, but subtle logistical arrangements in the area have not gone unnoticed. From a stylistic perspective, insiders describe the wedding as quiet luxury rather than overt opulence. Rather than towering floral installations or dramatic stage elements, the focus is said to be on texture, atmosphere, and emotional pacing. Hand-selected florals, likely sourced to complement the coastal environment, are rumored to be arranged in a way that feels organic rather than structured. Linen fabrics, soft lighting, and open-air transitions between ceremony and reception are all said to play a role in creating a seamless flow. Music, as expected, is being treated as a central narrative device. While no confirmation exists regarding specific performers, sources suggest that live arrangements will be customized for the couple, potentially including reinterpretations of meaningful songs rather than standard wedding selections. The intent, according to those familiar with the planning, is to make guests feel as though they are stepping into a story rather than attending a formal event. Every musical cue is reportedly timed to emotional beats, reinforcing the sense of intimacy. Travis Kelce's involvement has also drawn attention. Known publicly for his high-energy presence on and off the field, Kelce is said to be approaching the wedding with a notably grounded mindset. Friends describe him as focused on comfort and authenticity, ensuring that the event does not feel rigid or overly ceremonial. His influence is believed to shape the reception atmosphere in particular, leaning toward a relaxed celebration that encourages genuine interaction rather than formality. The timeline of the wedding day itself is being kept deliberately flexible. Unlike traditional ceremonies that follow a strict schedule, this event is rumored to allow moments to breathe. Guests may be encouraged to move freely between spaces, with the ocean and surrounding grounds serving as natural extensions of the venue. This approach aligns with reports that the couple wants the day to feel immersive rather than performative, minimizing the sense of observation even among invited guests. Speculation has also emerged regarding how the couple plans to handle public acknowledgement after the ceremony. While a complete media blackout is expected during the event, insiders suggest there may be a carefully curated release afterward, possibly a single official image or brief statement. This strategy would allow Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce to control the narrative while satisfying public curiosity, a balance Swift has mastered throughout her career. The broader cultural impact of the wedding is already being discussed, even before any confirmation. Analysts point out that Swift's personal milestones often resonate beyond entertainment news, influencing fashion trends, event aesthetics, and even public attitudes towards celebrity privacy. A wedding executed in this understated, highly controlled manner could further normalize the idea that major public figures are entitled to deeply private personal moments. Meanwhile, fans remain sharply divided between excitement and restraint. Online discussions reflect a growing awareness that speculation has limits, with many expressing respect for the couple's apparent desire to keep the event intimate. This shift in fan behavior is notable, suggesting an evolving relationship between celebrities and their audiences, one built more on boundaries than access. As preparations continue behind closed doors, the absence of official confirmation only heightens intrigue. The lack of leaks, unusual for an event involving figures of this stature, has itself become part of the story. It signals an unprecedented level of coordination and trust among everyone involved, from planners to vendors. If and when details are eventually confirmed, the wedding of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce is expected to be remembered not for excess, but for intention. It represents a moment where two worlds, global pop stardom and elite professional sports, intersect in a setting defined by restraint and meaning. Until then, Rhode Island remains quiet, the estate remains guarded, and the story continues to build toward a moment the world knows is coming, even if it won't be allowed to see it unfold in real time. The anticipation surrounding the reported wedding plans continues to intensify as new layers of context emerge from those observing the situation closely. What stands out most is the deliberate contrast between the couple's global visibility and the extreme discretion surrounding this event. For a pairing as culturally dominant as Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, the decision to anchor such a milestone in near total privacy is being interpreted as a recalibration of how modern celebrity relationships are defined and protected. Sources familiar with high-profile event planning suggest that the Rhode Island estate offers more than scenic value. Its architectural layout reportedly allows for multiple zones of activity without visual overlap, enabling the ceremony, reception, and private moments to unfold independently. This design minimizes internal disruptions and reduces the need for constant crowd management, reinforcing the sense that the event is structured around emotional comfort rather than optics. For a couple accustomed to constant attention, this environment is considered invaluable. Attention has also turned to the timing of the wedding, though no specific date has been confirmed. Observers note that both Swift's professional commitments and Kelce's athletic calendar would require careful alignment, suggesting that the chosen window is likely intentional rather than opportunistic. This reinforces the perception that the wedding is not an impulsive gesture, but the result of long-term coordination that prioritizes balance between personal life and public responsibility. From a fashion standpoint, speculation has remained unusually restrained. While Swift's influence on global fashion trends is undeniable, insiders indicate that the styling direction for the wedding will avoid overt statements. The emphasis, according to those close to the planning, is on timelessness rather than trend-setting. The goal appears to be longevity, choices that will feel just as relevant decades from now as they do in the present moment. This philosophy reportedly extends to Kelce's attire as well, favoring classic tailoring over experimental design. Catering and hospitality are also said to reflect the broader theme of refinement without excess. Rather than an extravagant display, the menu is rumored to focus on quality, locality, and subtle personalization. Coastal influences are expected to feature prominently, aligning with the Rhode Island setting, while accommodating the diverse tastes of an international guest list. The intent, sources claim, is to create a shared sensory experience that feels warm and intentional rather than performative. One of the most closely guarded aspects remains the emotional arc of the ceremony itself. Unlike conventional weddings that follow predictable rhythms, this event is said to be structured more like a narrative, building gradually, pausing intentionally, and culminating in a moment designed to resonate long after the day concludes. This approach reflects Swift's well-documented storytelling instincts and suggests that the ceremony may blur the line between celebration and personal expression. Travis Kelce's role within this narrative is described as quietly central. Friends of the athlete note that his presence brings a grounding effect, balancing the heightened symbolism with sincerity. Rather than positioning himself as a supporting figure in Swift's world, Kelce is said to be shaping the experience in ways that reflect mutual partnership. This dynamic has become a focal point in public discourse, with many viewing it as emblematic of a more equal, collaborative model of celebrity relationships. Security considerations continue to attract attention, particularly given the absence of leaks. Experts in celebrity logistics have pointed out that maintaining this level of confidentiality requires not only resources but also trust. Every vendor, staff member, and contractor involved would need to operate under strict agreements, suggesting a planning process that is both disciplined and highly selective. The fact that details remain largely speculative underscores how tightly controlled the operation appears to be. The surrounding community has also become an unspoken part of the narrative. Residents near the estate have largely refrained from public commentary, a silence that contrasts sharply with past high-profile events in similar locations. This restraint has been interpreted as either a reflection of respect or the effectiveness of confidentiality measures, further adding to the sense that something significant is unfolding behind closed doors. As the story develops, media analysts are increasingly framing the wedding not merely as an entertainment headline, but as a cultural signal. In an era defined by oversharing and constant visibility, the reported approach taken by Swift and Kelce stands out. It suggests a shift toward intentional opacity, revealing just enough to acknowledge public interest while withholding the substance that makes the moment truly personal. If this strategy continues, the eventual confirmation, whenever it arrives, may be understated by design. Rather than a cascade of exclusive images or interviews, the public may receive only fragments: a statement, a photograph, a brief acknowledgement. Yet those fragments are likely to carry disproportionate weight, precisely because of what remains unseen. Until then, the narrative continues to expand through inference rather than evidence. Each reported adjustment, each unverified observation, feeds into a broader picture of a wedding defined less by spectacle and more by control. Whether or not every detail proves accurate, the consistency of the reports points to a clear intention: to celebrate one of life's most significant milestones on their own terms. As Rhode Island remains quiet and the estate remains shielded, the story lingers in a state of suspended certainty. The world watches from a distance, aware that something meaningful is approaching, yet understanding that it may never be fully invited inside. And perhaps that, more than any luxury detail or celebrity guest list, is what makes this reported wedding so compelling: its refusal to be fully seen, even as it captures global attention. As speculation continues to circulate, the broader implications of this reported wedding are becoming part of the conversation. Cultural commentators note that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce represent two of the most influential spheres in modern American pop culture, music and professional sports, and their union carries symbolic weight beyond personal romance. The way this wedding is being handled, if reports hold true, reflects a deliberate effort to redefine how such high-profile milestones are shared, consumed, and remembered. What makes the Rhode Island setting especially significant is its history as a personal refuge rather than a promotional backdrop. Over the years, the estate has functioned as a boundary between Swift's public persona and her private life. Hosting a wedding there would reinforce that boundary, signaling that certain moments are not designed for mass consumption, regardless of public demand. Analysts suggest this could influence how other high-profile figures approach major life events in the future, prioritizing personal meaning over media exposure. The reported absence of brand partnerships or sponsorships tied to the event is also noteworthy. In an era where celebrity weddings often double as commercial showcases, sources indicate that this ceremony will remain entirely non-commercial. No visible logos, no coordinated brand reveals, and no monetized exclusives are expected. This choice aligns with the broader narrative of restraint and reinforces the perception that the event is intentionally insulated from external influence. Attention has also turned to how the couple's respective families are involved. While details remain limited, insiders suggest that family input has been given considerable weight in shaping the tone of the ceremony. Rather than centering solely on celebrity peers, the structure of the day is said to reflect a desire to honor familial relationships and shared history. This approach further distances the event from spectacle, grounding it instead in tradition and continuity. From a logistical standpoint, the planning timeline is believed to be unusually compressed yet precise. Rather than years of public buildup, the process appears to have been streamlined to reduce exposure. This strategy minimizes the risk of leaks while maintaining flexibility. Event professionals note that such an approach requires a high level of confidence and decisiveness, traits both Swift and Kelce are known for in their respective careers. The emotional tone of the wedding, according to those familiar with the plans, is expected to lean toward reflection rather than extravagance. Moments of stillness are reportedly built into the schedule, allowing space for genuine connection. This contrasts sharply with the fast-paced, highly choreographed nature of many celebrity events and reinforces the idea that the couple is intentionally slowing the experience down. Public reaction continues to evolve as fans and observers process the limited information available. Rather than frustration, there is a growing sense of respect for the couple's boundaries. Social discourse suggests that audiences are increasingly willing to accept delayed or minimal access, recognizing that constant visibility can erode authenticity. This shift may mark a broader change in how celebrity culture operates, particularly at the highest levels of fame. The potential long-term narrative impact is also being discussed. Swift's personal life has often intersected with her creative output, though always on her own terms. Observers are careful not to speculate beyond available information, but many note that a wedding defined by privacy and intention could influence future artistic directions, even if indirectly. Kelce, likewise, is seen as entering a new phase of public perception, one that balances athletic achievement with a more nuanced personal identity. As with all reports of this nature, uncertainty remains. Without official confirmation, Every detail exists in a space between inference and reality. Yet the consistency across sources, combined with observable patterns, lends credibility to the overarching narrative. The lack of contradiction from representatives is interpreted by some as strategic silence rather than denial. If the wedding does take place as described, its legacy may lie not in what is shown, but in what is withheld. In a media landscape saturated with instant access, the power of absence becomes amplified. A single confirmed image or statement could resonate more deeply than an entire gallery of curated content. For now, the Rhode Island estate stands as a focal point of quiet anticipation. Its gates remain closed, its shoreline undisturbed, and its significance largely symbolic. Whether the world will ever see inside remains uncertain. What is clear is that the story surrounding Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's reported wedding has already transcended conventional celebrity news, evolving into a case study on control, privacy, and the changing dynamics of fame. Until confirmation arrives, the narrative continues to unfold slowly, shaped by restraint rather than revelation. And in that restraint, the reported wedding gains a rare quality, one that keeps global attention engaged not through constant updates, but through deliberate silence, making the eventual truth, whenever it emerges, all the more impactful. As the silence surrounding the reported ceremony persists, media observers are increasingly focused on what that silence itself represents. In an age when celebrity milestones are often teased, leaked, and monetized months in advance, the absence of concrete confirmation has become its own signal. Analysts argue that this level of information control suggests not hesitation, but confidence, an assurance that the moment does not require validation through public anticipation. The relationship between Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce has already been marked by a careful balance between visibility and restraint. While their appearances together have generated global headlines, the deeper mechanics of their partnership have largely remained private. This same philosophy appears to be extending into the reported wedding plans. Rather than leveraging the event as a cultural spectacle, the couple seems intent on preserving it as a personal landmark, insulated from the rapid churn of digital discourse. Observers within the entertainment industry point out that Swift, in particular, has spent years reclaiming agency over her narrative. From re-recording her music catalog to redefining her relationship with fans and media, control has been a recurring theme. Hosting a wedding under conditions of extreme privacy would align seamlessly with that trajectory. It reinforces the idea that even moments of immense public interest can exist outside the machinery of constant exposure. For Travis Kelce, the reported approach is seen as equally intentional. As one of the most recognizable figures in professional sports, Kelce operates within a media ecosystem that thrives on access and personality. Choosing discretion over display at such a pivotal moment may reflect a broader shift in how he navigates fame. Commentators suggest that this phase of his life emphasizes stability and depth, complementing Swift's own evolution. The Rhode Island location continues to anchor speculation, not just because of its exclusivity, but because of its symbolic resonance. Coastal settings have long been associated with transition and reflection, themes that resonate strongly with the reported tone of the event. The ocean-facing estate, quiet and removed from urban centers, reinforces the impression of a ceremony designed for contemplation rather than performance. Industry insiders also note the absence of traditional pre-wedding signals. There have been no visible public fittings, no designer confirmations, and no coordinated social media cues. This lack of breadcrumbing stands in stark contrast to the norm for figures of this magnitude. It suggests a deliberate effort to decouple personal milestones from promotional cycles, a move that could influence how future celebrity events are managed. Meanwhile, the conversation among fans continues to mature. Rather than demanding access, many express appreciation for the boundaries being set. This reaction highlights a growing awareness of the emotional toll constant scrutiny can take, even on those accustomed to it. The tone of public discourse reflects a shift toward empathy, acknowledging that some moments are meant to be lived rather than observed. Speculation has also extended to the aftermath of the wedding, particularly how or if the couple will acknowledge it publicly. Communication strategists suggest that any post-event disclosure will likely be minimal and intentional. A single image, a brief statement, or even a subtle acknowledgement could suffice, allowing the couple to confirm the milestone without opening the door to invasive scrutiny. The potential ripple effects of such an approach are already being debated. If one of the most high-profile couples in the world can successfully shield a major life event from public consumption, it may embolden others to do the same. This could mark a turning point in celebrity culture, where access is no longer assumed but earned, or not granted at all. As days pass without confirmation, the narrative continues to grow through absence rather than revelation. Each unanswered question reinforces the impression that the event, if it occurs as reported, is unfolding exactly as intended, quietly, deliberately, and beyond the reach of real-time commentary. The Rhode Island estate remains unchanged in appearance, yet its symbolic weight continues to build. It stands as a reminder that not every significant moment needs to be shared to be meaningful. In a world accustomed to constant visibility, the choice to remain unseen can be the most powerful statement of all. Until facts replace speculation, the story remains open-ended. What is clear is that the reported wedding of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce has already achieved something rare. It has captured global attention without revealing itself, and in doing so, it has transformed anticipation into a narrative of its own, one defined not by images or exclusives, but by intention, restraint, and the quiet assertion of privacy in the most public of lives. As discussions continue to ripple through entertainment and sports media, the reported wedding plans are increasingly being framed as a reflection of a broader cultural moment. Analysts note that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are not only influential individually, but together occupy a rare intersection of audiences: music fans, sports followers, fashion observers, and mainstream pop culture consumers. Any milestone involving them naturally carries amplified attention, making the reported effort to keep the event private all the more striking. Sources close to celebrity event logistics suggest that such a level of discretion is rarely achieved without a clearly defined philosophy from the outset. From the earliest stages, every decision, location, vendors, staffing, scheduling would need to be filtered through the same priority: containment. This implies that the wedding is not being treated as an extension of public life, but as a protected personal space. The consistency of this approach has led many observers to believe that the couple reached an early agreement on boundaries, long before any formal planning began. The narrative surrounding the ceremony has also prompted renewed discussion about the evolution of celebrity relationships in the digital era. In the past, major unions often unfolded in public view, with interviews, exclusives, and behind-the-scenes access forming part of the story. By contrast, the reported approach taken here appears to reject that model entirely. Instead of inviting audiences into the process, Swift and Kelce seem to be redefining what it means to share selectively, acknowledging interest without feeding it continuously. Attention has also turned to the symbolism of timing. While no date has been confirmed, the apparent coordination between Swift's professional schedule and Kelce's athletic commitments suggests intentional pacing. Observers note that both are at points in their careers where legacy, rather than momentum alone, has become a guiding consideration. A wedding framed around meaning and stability fits naturally into that stage of life, reinforcing the idea that the event is less about marking a peak and more about establishing a foundation. Within industry circles, the reported wedding has sparked conversations about shifting power dynamics between celebrities and media. The ability to withhold access at this scale demonstrates a level of leverage that few possess. It underscores how fame, when managed strategically, can be used to protect rather than expose. Some commentators argue that this could influence how future high-profile figures negotiate coverage, placing greater emphasis on consent and control. The Rhode Island estate remains central to this discussion, not only because of its privacy but because of its emotional associations. Over time, it has come to represent a sanctuary, a place tied to reflection, reinvention, and distance from external noise. Hosting a wedding there would reinforce its role as a personal anchor rather than a performative stage. For many observers, that choice alone speaks volumes about the values guiding the event. Speculation around guest experiences has also emerged, though details remain limited. Rather than a rigidly choreographed program, the ceremony is rumored to emphasize presence and connection. Guests are said to be encouraged to engage with the environment and with one another, free from the pressure of documentation or spectacle. This approach aligns with the broader theme of intentionality that has come to define the reports. Public reaction continues to evolve alongside these narratives. While curiosity remains high, there is a noticeable shift toward acceptance of limited information. Fans and commentators alike appear increasingly aware that constant access can dilute significance. In this context, restraint becomes a form of respect, both from the couple and from the audience observing from afar. The absence of visual confirmation has, paradoxically, intensified engagement. Each new report, however restrained, generates analysis not just of content but of intent. What is said matters less than what is withheld, and that dynamic has become central to the story's appeal. The wedding, whether imminent or still forthcoming, has already reshaped expectations simply through its invisibility. As time passes, the likelihood grows that the event will be acknowledged only after it has occurred, if at all. Communication experts suggest that this strategy allows the couple to experience the moment fully before deciding how, or whether, to share it. Such an approach challenges the assumption that public figures owe immediate transparency, reinforcing the idea that privacy is not secrecy, but choice. In the broader cultural landscape, this reported wedding is increasingly viewed as a quiet counterstatement to oversharing. It suggests that even in a hyper-connected world, boundaries can still exist, and that they may even enhance significance. The more the moment is protected, the more weight it carries. For now, the story remains unresolved, suspended between anticipation and acceptance. The Rhode Island shoreline stays calm, the estate remains shielded, and the details remain unconfirmed. Yet the narrative continues to grow, shaped by inference, respect, and an understanding that not every meaningful event needs to unfold in public view. If and when confirmation arrives, it may do so quietly, without fanfare. But by then, the significance will already be clear. The reported wedding of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce will stand not just as a personal milestone, but as a cultural marker, one that highlights the power of intention, the value of privacy, and the evolving relationship between fame and personal life in the modern era.